Hi my fellow YouTubers, I'm Lucas, and this is my pet ball python, Cyric. His original name was Frank, but I started to call him Cyric or Stevie, but I think I'm going to go with Stevie. And I want to do a YouTube video dedicated to Steve Irwin, because Steve loved these guys, and you guys can see how big I mean, you know, this is a big snake, you know, and stuff like that. So I mean, you can kind of see him, and you know, this is also a dedication to Bindi Irwin and Robert Irwin and Terry Irwin and stuff like that. So I thought this would be a really good video to do tonight. You know, it's 1 o'clock in the morning here in the US, so I don't know exactly what time it is in Australia, but I kind of wanted to I picked out a song, so that's going to be playing in the background, as well as watching, you know, Stevie do his thing here. And I was watching a lot of the interviews, and they were talking about, you know, Terry, she was talking about a lot about how Steve still lives on through, you know, his daughter, and that he's still alive in a way. And so I thought it would be good to have the snake to kind of help me have the discussion about, you know, Steve Irwin and everything that he's dealt with, you know, in his life since 1963. Stevie's kind of skittish a little bit, so, you know, he's a 3-year-old, 4'8" ball python, so I'm quite sure Steve Irwin would have loved him if he was still here. But this snake, you know, as you can see, he's a pretty big boy. You know, for a 3-year-old, he's pretty big. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play the song in the background as I talk. And hopefully you guys will enjoy seeing Stevie, because I'm trying to lean this way to get it, you know, the MP3 player with the song on it. I'm not going to sing it, but it's going to play. It's by Celine Dion. And it's a really, really good song. And I love this song too, so it's a really, really, really good song. And I thought it'd be a good song for in the background, because Bindi was also talking about her dad, and so I thought this was a good song. And this song kind of dedicated to Steve Irwin himself too. So it's like, you know, Bindi was talking about how, like, you know, at the zoo, she would make people, you know, walk over the ant hills and stuff like that. Steve was on Conan in 2005 with a pregnant anaconda, you know, and stuff like that. But you know, I just wanted to do this video because I was kind of watching a lot of the stuff for like about an hour about Terry's reaction about Steve passing away, and that, you know, one of his favorite saying is, you know, don't let man become your worst enemies. And he's like, he was more afraid of humans because they'll actually want to become your friends before they become your enemies. But with an animal, you know, even with him at 4 feet, he could probably do some damage, but humans are more scarier than animals. And so, you know, I want to dedicate this video to Steve Irwin big time, because without him, I would not be holding a 4-foot ball python that's 3 years old, you know, and stuff like that. And he's, you know, he's really thick, you know, and usually I don't hold ball pythons that are this big, so, you know, Steve kind of helped me get over my fear of that with snakes, because usually I would never hold something this big. Even with the little tiny head that he has, I would not hold it. So, you know, I want to thank Steve for that. And he's actually shedding right now, but Steve would still be, you know, with his Australian accent, like, crikey, my, isn't he a beauty? He's quite gorgeous. This is a really beautiful ball python. He's the most greatest beautiful thing that God's created. You know, and I love Steve Irwin, and like in Africa, I did see an episode to where it really did make me disgusted because I was like 10 or 11. And with these guys, they actually chopped them up and blended them and put them, you know, in a drinking bottle, like as a shake. And I don't like that. And, you know, I thought that was kind of disrespectful towards the animal because, you know, the animal doesn't deserve that kind of cruelty at all. And Terry always goes to Tasmania to check on the daredevils and so forth. And, you know, when I heard about Steve's passing away, when he was doing Planet Earth, diving under the water, you know, it really made me upset. And, you know, Steve loved animals like this. He loved snakes, he loved crocs, he loved poisonous snakes. The stingray death was actually an accident. Stingrays don't really, you know, do that. So it's a freak of nature kind of accident. You know, I had a lady friend of mine, she died by a tree falling on her car, and that was a freak accident of nature. And the same thing with the stingray, it was a nature thing. Like even this ball python, he's gonna get bigger than 4 feet. He'll get big like those ball pythons Steve Irwin has at the Queen's Australian Zoo, you know, at the Queensland Zoo. And he's had snakes bigger than this. And you know, I really appreciate Steve for helping me get over my fear about pythons and snakes and everything in general. And you know, this little guy, I just got him today, but I've just been watching everything with the interviews with Terry Irwin being on Ellen, Bindi Sue being on Ellen. Like, Steve's passing has really, you know, brought everybody's eyes more open to a lot of stuff that they've seen. And you know, for me, I used to be deathly afraid of snakes, and snakes also have feelings too. They also have their own personality. They know how to feel. They know when to strike. They know when they're upset. They know when they're happy. They know when they want to be not handled. They have their emotions. And you know, Steve taught everybody that to learn. And you know, Stevie here, this one, I'm actually going to dedicate this one. I'm going to name this one Steve. He's only a baby, and a baby, he's already at 4, you know, feet long. And look at the thickness of the snake and the head on him. You know, this is a really big snake. I mean, if I put him on my neck, he could choke me. But, you know, ball pythons are really docile. And you know, I just, like, I miss Steve Irwin, you know, because when I was littler, now I'm 22, and when he passed away, I was 14, you know, in 2006, and it sucks that he actually passed away and left so early. But like Terry said, you know, Steve wasn't afraid of his mortality or anything, and, you know, he said, I want to do everything that I can before my time goes. And he did a lot, you know, from when he was born in '63 and passed in 2006. He did a lot. He did a lot with animals, and he did a lot with snakes. And, you know, I have a little husky chihuahua mix, you know, and he's a really, really, really good dog. And I, you know, just want to thank Steve Irwin. I want to thank Terry. I want to thank Bindi. You know, I want to thank the whole Irwin family, because, you know, if I wouldn't have watched Animal Planet or anything, especially with Steve Irwin, I wouldn't be able to be holding this big fellow here. And, you know, you guys on YouTube get to watch him and see what he's doing on my hand. You know, he turned himself into a little bracelet kind of thing. And, you know, like, if you look at his face, I don't know if he'll show you his face, but you know, Steve loved these kind of guys. He really did. These were the things that he would go chasing. So that is driving out of the outback. This is the kind of snake or sidewinder or black mamba or anything. He would get out of his car and chase these wild guys down. And the thing is, sometimes they'll bite them, sometimes they won't, and just depending on their mood. But these are the kind of things that Steve lived for, and you know, I just want to pass it on. The legacy is like, you know, don't be afraid. Animal's an animal. You know, I'm actually planning on going to Australia and back to the UK. So I mean, I'll be